One time when my oldest was very young, she walked in on me, you know, getting my nut.
Because I need to, this pussy is not gonna eat itself, okay?
I once, if I did keep the evil away.
Exclusive. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I need it.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Who is you? For make me believe otherwise. You couldn't stop what God create. A greatness running in my blood. Hello?
This is the second, third, fifth. I don't have the freaking stand. Listen, I don't like this shit. God damn it. And then the amount of goddamn ganja I need in my life right now. Because, Lord, today was a day. It started early and it's ending with fuckery. Nah. And Rue probably like, oh my God. And Rue called herself still being on the road. What the hell is going on? And you the one that set this up. You on the road though. Okay. Very good. It's okay. Nobody else is here but me. It's all right. You recording all of this? Oh shit. More work for me because I gotta cut all this shit out. More work for me. Please tell me somebody can.
Okay, now we looking good.
Now you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me.
This is it. Child.
Man.
Yeah, I'm the editor of the videos too, so this is the fuck shit I'll be cutting out as well.
Okay, great. I'm glad you.
Yeah, I'll be editing all of this fuck shit out because the people don't need to see. That technical difficulties was trying to shut shit down.
Talk about it, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
just cock blocking on some bullshit. I can't let the people see that. No.
No, that's the business. That's how you do that shit. That's exactly how you do that. I love that. Already I'm in the video.
No. We cutting it out right away.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, indeed. Now, I don't know if well, first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Kai Storm, the good half of motherhood. I wouldn't say the good half because ain't like Ruby ain't the good half too, but you know what I'm saying. I'm one half of motherhood sex marijuana. Ruby will be here in a minute. She is currently traveling through trying to get home from Seattle and whatnot, as far as she told me, but. You know what I'm saying? I was able to make it here on time, definitely.
Yeah, I feel that.
And yes, rolling and smoking is very much encouraged on motherhood sex marijuana. If you watch the episode of 3, you would have seen that.
Hey, I didn't use your papers already. I got a book of them when I did a set over there at the 722. At one time, you see, I think you was in the building and you was giving out paper samples. And I tried it and gave them out to the people that needed them. Hey, we love them motherfuckers on my side. So keep doing what you're doing. So we love them on my side. If you have some blunt wraps, we go for them motherfuckers too, because we smoke a lot of blunts.
I know, shit. I smoke a lot of blunts my motherfucking self. Yes, indeed. So, yes, those are encouraged. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, no doubt.
Okay. All right. Shots fired. All right. Yes, I am back. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, so as well, until Ruby gets here, we can start the show. Motherhood, sex, marijuana in the motherfucking building with Kemetlightmedia. Now, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I did not click on your website or do I know anything about you, because Ruby, who brought you to the show,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying, so she would be more familiar with you. So I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet. And give you a chance to introduce yourself and introduce, you know, what you do, and shit. Talk about how you met Ruby in the first place too. Shit.
Oh, wow. Okay, okay. Well, I met Ruby doing a set, number one. I do spoken word. I'm known for doing spoken word here as well as hip hop. That's a starter right there. And so
Okay.
Ruby did a set at it's 722 for number one, and Fire Production puts it on, and it's last Sundays, and it happens every last Sunday of the month type thing. And so that's where it initially started at first, you know what I mean, doing the spoken word, and then of course watching Ruby do her set, which is damn sure great. You know how that go. But I would have to.
Yeah, Ruby is, first of all, Ruby is a kick and a half all by herself. Never mind when she's joined by other people.
I say that because she's phenomenal with what she do. I love the energy. It was my first time seeing her when I did see her. And, you know, as the months have progressed, I started seeing her more, of course. You know what I mean? We got the chance to kind of conversate in between.
Yeah.
But with this invite, I didn't know she was all connected to the podcast, number one. I had already been on your papers, and I'm like, oh, these is cool. Okay, sister, them got some brand. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the papers, I'm rolling up, that type of thing. You feel what I'm saying? And then, of course, this last Sunday that we just did last month, ended up running into her again. And then that's when the invite came up. You know what I mean? So I was like, great. I want to talk about Kemetlightmedia and what you do. I'm like, wow, okay, she knows what I do besides poetry. I was like, all right, because a lot of times nowadays, I just don't be slanging it around. It's like, if you know, you know.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? It's like, I like keeping it like one of those best kept secrets without the glamour and stuff like that and the shit. I've been through that already in my youth. So it's not about that. If you really want to do something and do some business, I've been a Black-owned media company and production company here in Portland for over 20 years. That's the
word. Okay.
Yeah, for over 20 years. But when I started off in hip hop, doing hip hop production in Los Angeles. Developed a crew that's called Bum Rush Productions. Okay. Founded that, I was roughly, when I first started with founding Bum Rush, I had to be about 14 to 15 years old, honestly.
Okay.
And I was getting my survivor's insurance. And so my allowance at the time, for my mother to please me, and I think that's all it was. That's why I love Black women, because my mother is straight from Detroit. But she had boys, and she already knew, you know what I mean? She was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So we had an allowance. So it was like $600. You see what I'm saying? And so
$600 a week, a month?
A month. It was a month. It was a month.
Oh my goodness, that's a nice little piece of change for a child.
Hey, you know what? Real talk. That's why I give my mom so much admiration. You see what I'm saying? And because she's just, to me, she's a phenomenal woman with the things and the lifestyle she has lived and where she comes from. She's Blackfoot and Seminole. You see
okay.
You see what I'm saying? My great-grandfather is Seminole. My grandfather, he is Blackfoot. And so that you wouldn't be able to tell, because of my great-grandmother, she's Ghanaian, you wouldn't be able to tell that my mama wasn't from the block, if that's the case. She looked like any other sister, and she raised us just that way. You know what I'm saying? Because they were, my grandmother come from the farm, like literally down in Cass, It was straight farmland, 500 acres. You see what I mean? So it was always a lot of room for us to run around when I was a youth. We would have to go back home for the family reunions. And so that was always thrown. So you strong, black, and gifted, that's always been imparted into me. You know what I mean? You could do anything you put your mind to. You're beautiful. All these things. I've always had, even with her sisters, it's the same thing. They would always pour into me that. You see what I'm saying? And so they used to be soul. My mother was a Soul Train dancer with my father when it was a kids club. Okay, Soul Train used to be a kids club in Chicago, number one. You know what I mean? Then when about time it got to the syndicated days, that's the stuff we know.
Right.
That's what we know of it. But for them, that was a kids club. Her being in her 70s now, you see what I'm saying? That was a kids club. It went on to do good. Everybody proud of Don Cornelius, but at the same time, they got their own memories when they was kids dancing at the Soul Train. You know what I mean? You can go down there, get your little juice or whatever, all that good shit. You know what I mean? So I always had that influence. So growing up in Los Angeles, we, you know, it's crazy because you get access to so much, and it's the flair of everything is gone. Because you develop there. You see what I'm saying? So for Hollywood, for somebody else, when they're talking about Hollywood, we like, oh yeah, Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? When they talk about Magic Mountain, we're like, yeah, man, Magic Mountain. You get bust upside your head at Magic Mountain too. You just go 3 blocks that way. You know what I mean? So we got a different understanding of these type of things that are like big and we see in movies and shit like that. You know what I mean? But also we got access to the talent that's being developed there too. We ain't got to come in. It would be the same way if you grew up in New York. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna run into those cats from New York that live in Harlem, East Orange. I done been all in Newark, all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna run in Jersey. You're gonna run into those cats that's coming up MCing. If you in those same places, if you go into those same spots where they spitting that on the block or whatever it may be. And so it was always that. So I've been X as long as I can remember. They always have called me that. You know what I mean? So it's been one of those things because I loved Malcolm X as a kid. He was just, bro, just stood out for, it was the whole story and the change part of it. It was just something about the change. I always seen a hood brother in mind. You feel what I mean? I would have the Max always tell me, man, don't be no pimp. You know, it's Max got it right. You know what I mean? You ain't got to do all that to talk to a woman. All these things, man, your voice. You got to do something with that voice. So it was always somebody, you know what I mean, amongst all the chaos that, you know, we have in the Black community sometimes and within the Spanish community, because mine was always mixed in the part of LA where I'm from. It's diverse. Of course. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to meet everybody. Slavics, Russians, Italians, you know what I mean? Irish, that's all a bunch of my partners. That's all they is. So you grow up already knowing that's Irish red. That's what this cat like to be called and shit like that. Or Negrito. He over there, he from the block, he from 18th, you know what I mean? But they call him Negrito. Not because they trying to be derogatory, is because he darker.
Oh yeah, trust me.
You feel what I'm saying?
Can relate to that. I can relate to that definitely because I'm originally from Panama. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, you already know, yo.
So you know what I mean?
Latinos.
So exactly. So the whole so to me, you know, when I would hear like, you know, certain Hispanics and they're talking and, you know, because based on lighter skin, they would just be like, oh, I'm not black and it's like, bruh, according to the orange man, all of us are niggas.
Hey, look, check this
according
out.
to the orange man.
That's real talk. It's just I look at it like this: one ship went that way, the other ship went that way, and another ship
Either way.
went that way. But we all come from the
Exactly, but we
same
was
damn
all on the ship
continent.
somehow,
Yeah,
okay? You know what I'm
that's
saying? So
all.
you can't call yourself different. And then as far as you're raising you're growing up, definitely I can see the similarities from East Coast to West Coast, because you know what I'm saying? It's just like you said, there's dudes that's on the block that's on some positive shit.
Yeah.
There's some dudes that's on the negative shit. And you just you know what I mean? And
Yes.
based on your raise, being raised and whatnot, you know what I mean, you knew which path to
Yeah,
follow.
you know what? You end up knowing how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? With my crew, it was like when I threw my first party, I had to be about 13 years old.
Okay.
I threw it in the rec room. You see what I'm saying? That we had in the building. Now, mind you, I just because I'm an artist, you know what I mean? I do stuff like let me see, here's a good one.
Oh, are those your paintings? Okay.
Yeah. So I know I got my light kicking in here, but I could give you some type of visual.
That's good. That's real good.
You see what I'm saying? So I do stuff like that. But my point is, so I would design little b-boy characters and so forth. And so that was the stuff I put on my flyers. I figured if I went through every school in my hood, you see what I'm saying? Because mind you, middle school, come on now. You know what I mean? I figured that I was, you know what I mean? If I go to every school in my hood and just show up at the, you know what I mean, in the beginning, I could dip into a classroom, you know what I mean, what one of my friends was, and then start passing on my flyers, lunch, stuff like that. You feel what I mean? And so I would dip out to another school, do the same thing. So I would do that each day until I got to the time of my party. So sometimes I get caught. They'd be like, hey man, you don't go to school here. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I get up and have to dip out real quick on their ass. You see what I mean? That type of shit. So I did that. And about time when it was like, that's elementary, middle school, I'm getting in there. It's really I'm feeling it, because that first one, it was like, I didn't expect that many people to come up. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, no name, you know, it's all about namesake. So I ain't got no real name. You feel what I mean? So I come up with something. And so
then we're also talking about a time before social media as well, where the word of mouth had to be for real.
Hey, your shit, I was just talking to some of my other brothers about this, that because one of my brothers from my crew, he signed Exhibit. And I got mad at him. You know what I mean? Like, what, you let this nigga, what you doing? What? You know what I mean? He had Interscope. You feel what I'm saying? And he was like, nah, X, it ain't even about that. You know what I mean? The record label picked the name. You feel what I mean? This is back when this cat is just coming out. All due respect, ain't been nothing but love from the first time I met him. And I asked him about how'd you get that name, X, you know what I mean? Because it was real buggy. And we was up in this club where he was just about to perform at. And so security didn't rush me. You feel what I mean? To try to say, oh, you know, I'm like, no, I ain't no fuck shit. So we smoke, we talk. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing about Exhibit, is that, especially at that time, that he was sociable, because he didn't have no name at that time. He was pushing. Interscope was pushing, you know, it's promos, you doing whatever you got. This is before I Pimp My Ride or any of that. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like meeting a regular brother that comes from D-Town that ain't got signed.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And he in LA, you feel what I'm saying? And so he learning the codes. He don't know that. My brother, I'm out here, coming out here trying to put Bum Rush out here too. And my pop in and out of LA, I was notorious. I'd pop in and out of LA like I'll spend a year and a half, then pop back up here, throw some parties out here. And so that's how I lived my life from a youth. When I'm 15, I came out here to Portland with Bum Rush. I ended up, as wild as it may seem, it's a crazy story that I got about meeting OG1. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I met OG1 years ago when, before he was OG1. You see what I'm saying? And he was the director over United Way. You feel what I'm saying? And I they literally had a cartoon competition for their gang peace shirts. And at the time, I felt like I was well connected because I used to do, like I said, the X parties, and it was do gangster parties. You know what I mean? You could come up in the shit. We already knew it was because it's too many gangs and shit. And we too damn close.
And that's and that's why I was going to ask you too, like how it was the vibe maneuvering amongst all of that, because I'm assuming, I mean, I've never been I've been on the West Coast, yes, but I've been in Seattle. That's how me and Ruby met, by the way. We used to live in Seattle together. But as far as, you know, living in like you know, quote unquote, you know, gang. I mean, yes, New York had gangs, but New York is about all. Because I don't know if you know this, but I live in New York.
I didn't know that. Shouts out there. I'm over here talking about the city because
I'm from New York. I actually was born in Panama, but raised in New York, Brooklyn. And moved out to Seattle for about 7 years, and that's how. And then during that 7 years, I met Ruby, and we started this podcast together. But I'm back in New York now, and you know, and even back then, like I said, New York, yes, the gangs exist here, but at the end of the day, the theme of New York is survival of the fittest. It's all about me and me. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. If I have love for you, I might bring you with me, but I'm gonna get it. You feel me? It's not, you know what I'm saying? So the gang life really wasn't. It really wasn't like that here. It's never been like that here. So no. I can't imagine what it was on your side of the town.
Well, you know what? Originally, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I grew up around Argyle Gardens, Cabrini Greens, and all that kind of stuff, Magnolia Projects.
I've heard of those places.
Yeah, with one side of my family, like with my mama's side, I would say they was hood. You feel what I mean? With Pop's side, they was more well-to-do. You know what I mean? My mama would say that you know what I mean? Like, he a good guy, you know, one of the, you know what I mean? He a stand-up brother type stuff, you know what I mean? Dude wasn't in the gangs or none of that stuff. You know what I mean? He went to church. You see what I'm saying? That type of stuff.
Definitely.
So about time he come home at 16 with my mama, his family like, oh, wait a minute. She come from that other side. We don't really, you know what I mean? But their love was strong or I wouldn't be here. But I always say that because, you know what I mean? I feel like my parents are the total of two opposites attracting and a perfect blend that helped me be able to balance and navigate through the world as it is at hand. Because I know two sides. You see what I'm saying? And so they always raised me, you know what I mean? Get your education. You feel what I mean? Stay that way. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't educate myself. And I don't mean just in school. I mean just period. Read. I love to read. You see what I'm saying? I love to discover. I love science. I love chemistry. All these things was, you know what I mean? Space, all that stuff. All the sciences was really a big part of my youth for me. I had to have a telescope. I had to have, you know what I mean? I collect geology. I collect stones and so forth. I used to bring them home as a kid. It's really part of what my company does right now too. We do a lot of things, but again, I started off in production, just giving you some background. Def Jeff, he was a cat that came out back in the mid 80s. He was coming up. I knew Jeff from the neighborhood.
Okay.
So when I started throwing parties and getting into that scene, of course, having that connection, there was a cat named Cosmo too. He had a big ass, a tall ass motherfucking box that was a blonde. He had a dark-skinned nigga with a blonde ass. So he was one of those types. You know what I mean? That was his whole thing. That's how you knew that was Cosmo right there.
Right.
And this is back when you had to pay to have a video per play, you know what I mean, type of thing. So if people like your video, they would pay and to watch it. You see what I'm saying? That's how.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we got on. You know what I mean? In the early getting on with hip hop, it was you know, if you wanted to be on TV and have your video on TV, stuff like that, because me and SAS, another crew that I was involved with, we had New Generation along with my brother Joe that I was telling you about, who was at Interscope later on. You know what I mean? Of course, it was Skip and Dance. They was there too, as well as Big D. You know what I mean? All of us came together. I needed help. Really, I always laugh now with the cats. That's what they always remind me, especially Skip, my brother. He'd be like, "Nah, man, remember Clint?" Because everybody called me Clint too. I've been Pierce since I was 14, 15. And so about the time X-Clan became the thing, you feel what I mean? It was there go clan right there. In my hood, they already knew. So it stood for extremely crazy looking ass nigga. You feel what I mean? And then that's just how, you know what I mean, at that time in my life, you feel what I mean? That's how I moved. You feel what I mean? So in any case, I came up doing Kung Fu, number one. So my clique, they did Kung Fu. A lot of
because all of us sat up Saturday mornings and watched Kung Fu movies.
Everybody did. So
the cartoons, then the movies.
So, but I don't know if a lot of people know, Bruce Lee used to go through LA a lot. All right, back in the day.
He lived in Seattle at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. That's where he's buried at, from what I understand. And so, but he messed with a lot of the blacks too. You see what I'm saying? That's why you have Kareem in a movie with him and so forth like that. And so the brothers would go join, of course, his school or become a part of his teaching. And so what they would do, especially a lot of the black vets that came back, you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. So it was real big. So we had cats like Papa San. You see what I'm saying? That you knew him.
Yes.
And so Papa San, I used to beg Papa San to teach me, man. Shit, you know what I mean? I'd grab a stick and hit your ass or something like that. But you know what I mean? I was dealing with a lot of gangs and shit early. So I was like, I wanted to know how to fight. Everybody, you know, it was, you know, you had to know how to use your hands. And don't get me wrong, tools have always been around, with knives, a bat, a stick, or something like that. But you always had to know how to use your hands too as well. And so that's something that I knew I needed discipline too. You know what I mean? Also, my father, I knew I was wild when I had to get sent out here for being involved in a lot of gang activity. You see You see what I'm saying? So with that, it was always special with me and my brother Des. You know, as I'm thinking about this and talking about it, because I only talk about it with them a lot of times. You know what I mean? And I was telling them that we need, you know, I'm gonna start talking about this type of stuff more, you know, because it is a part of hip hop from Los Angeles that spread across this nation. You know, with our crew, Don't Give a Fuck. We started that mid 80s. You know what I'm saying? We would have never known that would be a culture the way it is now. But we push this shit. Like, you push your whip, we push this. Still having that survivor's insurance money, you know what I mean? I emancipated myself at 16. And so doing so, you know what I mean? I had access to where I was paying adults. That's how I got to rent a lot of spaces. You feel what I mean? I'll pay your ass off. You know what I mean? Nigga, you love money, you know what I mean? I noticed that at a young age. You feel what I mean? So that became, you know what I mean? Of course, you know what I mean? I talk with my brothers now from this turf that, you know, I look back, you know, because when you moving fast and you really trying to build something, and you like Pac would say, I can see death around the corner. You see what I mean? You're always dealing with death. You feel what I'm saying? So you're trying to make your legacy. So you're going hard, you're going fast. You see what I'm saying? And if you got access to capital, not a lot of people had access to capital like I did. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like it at a time because I had to get it through my dad being murdered. You see what I'm saying? So, well, another motherfucker would be like, oh, this nigga. You feel what I mean? I push my Lincoln. I'm 6'9" Lincoln with suicide doors. I'm 16 pushing it through block. It's dirty green, you know what I mean? Like camo green, you know what I mean? So you know when you see it coming, you know what I'm saying? And so with that type of stuff going on, you feel what I mean? Plus, I'm with these cats that they known for martial arts, and even these gangsters respect these niggas. You feel what I mean? We got Tiger. Tiger was known in the hood. We lived wherever we wanted to. You see what I'm saying? And then Don was our seafood. This nigga 6'9", take his leg up and do this. You know what I'm saying? And so all these, you know, LV, you know what I mean? Unc about 5'4", 5'6", but he come in my house and kick the fucking door frame. You see what I mean? And leave his footprint in the door and laugh, hey nephew. You see what I mean? So these guys, you know what I mean? These was the OGs for me at the time. You see what I mean? These guys, when I was learning about being a man, and they was like, okay, you got to come up out of, you got to do one or the other. You know what I mean? You got to, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get locked down out here. You feel what I mean? Right. So you got.
All right. So what are you working on now? What are you can say are the things that you know you pushing out now through your company?
Well, with Kemetlightmedia, with redevelopment, I went into technology, computer science, number one.
Yes.
And so I do multimedia. That's a part of it, as well as video production too, as well. And so between that and publishing and editing is another thing I do with animation too, as well.
Nice.
And so I have several parts in which, of course, that we develop on. Right now, we've been testing out a lot of our AI systems and so forth, and just far as in competition, there's a lot of competition. We know as a Black media company that we have to compete with bigger companies than us.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying? And so with me having my degrees within technology already, my degrees in video production and so forth, so I know to stay above the curve, so to speak. And so I utilize technology in order to be able to bring us media in which caters toward a Black audience, for lack of a better word.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the productions, things that I've done for 15 years. I used to call them, because I have a show called I'm a Boss TV. And what we would do is go interview different local hip hop artists and so forth like that, do skits and so forth. Now it's a big ass thing, you know what I mean? And so we do short films, stuff like that too. But then also we do a lot when it comes down to healthcare for us African Americans, and when it comes down to mental health for African Americans. One of my biggest things that I believe is that besides us suffering Stockholm syndrome and shit like that, but I believe that we have turned a lot of stuff inward. With my gang affiliation or involvement in my past times, that is self-hate. And so in it, once we lost our leaders and so forth like that, we started to turn that hatred because we couldn't fight the government, because the government just kicked our ass and just shot us down. And so in that, we couldn't fight the feds. So we started to hate ourselves and fight each other more. And so now we're at the problem where we're at right now, to where we had gangs, we have pimping and hoeing and all these extra things that we wasn't known to be doing. That's why we're doing them, because we've taken up on our oppressor's nature. And so with that, my goal with Kemetlightmedia, of course, again, I do a lot of things with mental health and different workshops. I deal with housing. I feel like, number one, you know what I mean, as well as with my wardrobe, my whole thing is house, feed, and clothe you. You see what I'm saying? Have all of that available for you, as well as the resources you need to navigate through the system. Our biggest opponent that we have is ignorance with the system and how to navigate through it. So as a peer-to-peer mentor, I do a lot of outreach with of course, whether they're involved with gangs or just you just involved in a thug way of life. You know what I mean? I just as soon as I hear it, yeah, like, I don't give a fuck. Oh, okay, you banging. I realized a long time ago, a lot of people didn't know they was banging when they were saying that. See, don't give a fuck. It's a gang in LA. Okay, and so now it's a way of speech for a lot of people, and a way of life and an act. And they don't know. They can't come home.
Exactly.
They
It's
can't
a
come
whole
home.
vibe.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe. And again, as I talk to the other brothers, we already know we all got regular lives. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody, kids and shit,
Everybody's
grandkids,
older. Everybody's more
everybody older,
experienced.
experience. You know,
Everybody has reached a certain age in life
age.
and has looked back and
Hey,
first of all has looked back and said, I am thankful that I am still
yeah,
here to
hey,
see this and to see what's going on. And I am looking forward and I'm making steps
talk
to
about it.
be more,
Talk
aware of
about it
what's
all
going
the time.
on going forward and being
So,
more involved in the growth of what's going on
yeah,
going forward.
yeah. My biggest thing is that I do a lot of youth-oriented things. Make my studio available to where they come in and get training in multimedia and film production, as well as studio engineering. And that's the type of things we do with Kemetlightmedia. I also teach entertainment business. You see what I'm saying? So they understand the business of entertainment.
And
Um,
that's good. And that's good because first of all, even on a separate but kind of similar note, like my daughter, when my daughter was in junior high school, she was actually taking a class in beat making, like making beats and whatnot. And I was just like, yo, back in the days, that you couldn't have dared brought that to education and said, yes, let's teach a class about making beats. Let's teach a class about being
right,
involved, being a creative, being being doing certain things in arts and media, so that what I'm saying, that you don't necessarily think about giving up and turning to
right.
to negative things in the neighborhood that's going to bring that's going to
Now,
bring
what you're
nothing but
saying right
negativity to
there,
your life.
what you're saying right there, I understood in front of 26 parole and probation officers, right? Where I'm from, you just don't go to jail just to talk to people and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't run up in this place, you know what I mean? And just to tell the honest truth. And that's where I was pushing. Of course, I pushed my course through that. I got a hip hop curriculum and spoken word therapy curriculum in which I use in order to be able to, of course, help youth out. But my point is that same thing you were saying. The reality is this: we didn't have that. Period. Now there is this available. I asked them all, how many of y'all enjoyed hip hop coming up? Every hand in that motherfucking room was raised. When I was asking favorite songs, everybody had their little favorite. When I said
Everybody had
remix
their favorite song, their favorite
song,
dance, their favorite artist, all that.
now your ass then got old, right? You didn't get all your shit together now. You didn't forget about hip hop and went and got a regular job. And now you staring at yourself when you're talking to one of these youth. And you trying to tell them that they cannot do it, that they can't make it. Could anybody tell you that shit? You know what I'm saying? Really, because one of us as adults at our age come to you and say you wasn't gonna make it. Hell no. So the reality is that's number one. Two is you got to do what they like. If they like this genre, all right, then why don't you provide the skills that they need in order to be successful in the genre? Because there's successful people within the genre. Okay. Now, there's no degrees for hip hop. Okay. But there is a degree for business. So you teach them the business of entertainment. You teach them the business, how to market themselves. What's the difference between your BMI and your ASCAP? How do you get there? Okay. Even if you go do a free show and they charging tickets, can you get paid still? And not have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's different things. Your mechanical royalties, because it's a lot different from. I done slung CDs out the trunk all in New York. And, you know, I done took whatever my little underground sound is around and been able to spread my little movement without even have to put my face on a lot of shit. You know what I mean? But how do you do that in your day and age to where everybody wants to be seen? You see what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be the person in front of the camera. Nobody wants to do the background, be the background.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if that's the case, then you got to do both. You got to know both. So that means you need training.
It makes sense for you to know both so that you could be versatile or on a set,
look,
whenever being on a set. Yes.
Yes, you're going to be very versatile. When you're going into it and dealing with an engineer that is getting paid roughly $200 to, let's just say, $500 an hour, we ain't got time for you not to know your words.
Word.
Okay?
Exactly.
When you get when I say I'm going to give you an advance, okay, I want to sign you. Here's $1 million right here. You got the $1 million now, okay? You got to know that you owe me $1 million, okay? As a record label with Kemetlightmedia too and publishing, that's what we do as well. You got to know if I front you that and I give you an advance, no different than your job gives you an advance. I expect you to work.
Exactly. And see, that's the funny shit that you know, and a lot of the artists are starting to break down that yes, that even though they sold 1 million records, they still will end up broke because they owe the record company for the tour, their clothes, the makeup,
What about your studio
car
time?
you bought, the jewelry you bought.
Time. What about your studio time and marketing that I paid for?
All that.
Okay, because your stylist made sure you was looking good. You understand what I'm saying? Now you got that meal, but you went and got you a $250,000 house. Okay, then you also took another $150,000 and spent you on a car. You understand? You did $100,000 more.
You bought some jewelry.
And got you some jewelry. You understand what I'm saying? You made sure your family and everybody's bills was paid and they dripped out. You understand? But you have not paid me back any of my money and you don't think I'm going to get it? Already got you signed to 3 albums.
Exactly.
Regardless.
That means you gotta make at least 3 albums just to pay me back. And the fact is, while I'm making them 3 albums, you're gonna be out promoting it. You're gonna be traveling all over the place. You damn sure gonna be doing radio interviews, trying to pump this,
all that costs.
and then all of that is for free. Cause hello, you spent my money.
Yeah,
you gotta pay me back.
So hey, if I want you to be in a little pink tutu, my nigga, because they over here paying, guess whose ass is in a pink tutu right now? You understand what I'm saying, player? And I don't give a fuck about what you thinking and what you saying, because in here I own your image, I own the rights to promote your image, I own the rights to style your ass, and I own the rights to put you on Billboard. You see what I'm saying? And so, in breaking
not
down,
even the lyrics that you sing and because especially if somebody else wrote them. If I got you a ghostwriter, wait a minute.
Hey, look, with if I play samples right now, and I just drop something called The Foundation, right? And just it's a whole story of you know, how I then came up with whatever, so forth, through 17 tracks. But everybody on there, all the lyrics, all the beats I own. I'm the publisher, as well. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so the reality is, I'm DJ Cali to their next advancement. You understand what I'm saying? And so
it's all you, basically. I get it.
Yeah. So I look at it like that. That's where the industry is now.
It definitely is.
So regardless, if you don't know that, and this is your dream to play any part in it. Because there's so many parts in it. You feel what I mean, that you can play and be able to exist in. And like I said, I knew cats coming up. Jeff, Cosmo. Jeff got signed with Def Jam. Cosmo had his little sound. But my point is, I can go over several, when Buster came to the hood and all that. I can go over several different things, or people and artists. You see what I mean? The fact is that if you do not become educated within the field that you're going to be in, you see what I'm saying? You are going to lose. You're going to lose. If you're not, your idea of making it, I've been getting paid off of hip hop since I was a child. Your idea of making it, you got things fucked up. Your idea of making it may be to be seen by everybody. Whereas an OG like me idea of making it is to keep on doing this shit that I love until the day I die. And always be able to make money. My kids will be able to make money off the shit that I got. That's my grandkids. All that kind of, that's what I'm in it for, is the legacy part of it. You feel what I mean? Because the money gonna come. It's always gonna be there. There's always something that you can do within our genre that is strictly us. You understand what I'm saying? And if you real with it,
definitely.
If you real
definitely. You know what I mean? What
so
now?
much production.
Your art
But
pieces.
anyway.
I'd like to ask you some questions about your art pieces. How long have you been doing those?
You know, I've been doing art since I was a kid, to be honest. That's what kept me out of trouble. I got locked up at 17 and went to the county. And I got an OR and got out. Took a journalism class in high school and so forth, just to have that extra elective. But they wasn't talking about shit that in my real life, because I was dealing with real life things. And so I was just drawing Malcolm X in there because I was reading his autobiography. A teacher seen that shit and was like, damn, man, if you keep drawing, you could just turn in your drawings. And you know what I mean? You could get through this class and you can make your grades and graduate, all that kind of shit.
Oh,
So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
art for a grade. Yes, that's what's up. Let's get started this shit.
Yeah, I'm with this shit. So when it came down to portraits and stuff, that's how long I've been dealing with it. But just moving forward, recently, within the last decade, I do a whole thing called the Eccentric Visual Art exhibition. And so it's similar to pop-up style, to where I'll pop up with a gallery style, art gallery, and I show different pieces that I do. But I also thank goodness for the hard work of the individuals at Regional Arts and Culture Council, places like that that's out here, into which I sell art to the city of Portland too. And so I've been able to do that as well, much bigger pieces. And so I spend
that's awesome.
That's why I say knowing the business, that's what it goes in full circle 360 with that's why I think with a lot of our youth and people younger than me, I'll say like that. All right. When you I've done art 20 years. I think I started to really sell pieces within the last decade on a higher level, because I stopped doing art for me.
Gotcha.
Okay. As long as I did art for me, you know, I sold some art, but it wasn't at this level that I do it like for years now. Every day I could sell a piece, and which I do, and I'm thankful for that. You feel what I mean? But in any case, with the new stuff that I do, you know what I mean? A lot of it is, especially with the gemstone art, I'm reaching over to grab you a couple things so I can show you some of the gemstone stuff. And so go out and we'll go to different, whether it's the mountains or different parts of Oregon, Eastern Oregon, Of course, in the West Side, over in Montana, stuff like that. And we gather gemstones.
Wow. Okay.
Me and my
That would be the
cousin.
side to do it, because I mean, you got a lot of naturals over there, a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
forest and
yes, in fact,
greenery.
the greenery, mountains, and so
Yes, mountains. I never appreciated those mountains. Oh yes, that's gorgeous.
forth.
Okay,
We do wire wrapping.
okay. Yeah,
And
I see
so,
that. That's a beautiful stone. Okay.
this is one of our organ agates, real big, we
Mm,
might have illuminates it, but just to give you a good,
okay, and
so,
those are wooden beads.
and yeah, with the wooden beads attached,
Oh,
we do hemp, you know what I mean? We deal with a lot of people that are allergic to have allergies toward metals, whether it's gold, whether it's silver, whether, whatever. They have allergy toward it.
mm,
But with that in mind, that's what broaden our horizons within business. Because we also do stuff like this too as well, that is silver, you know what I mean?
okay, that's beautiful.
That's Cartwright right there. It's a more purple, type
Yeah,
stuff.
see the so that's what I was about to say. Because it's purple, it's really, really pretty.
Yeah, with that deep purple in it. So nowadays, you know what I mean? This is where a lot of, besides the portrait art that I do, I got a
Mm-hmm.
couple of things over here I'll grab. Let me see
Okay.
real quick. The portrait art takes an awful lot because,
Oh, that's Miss Angelina, ain't it?
yeah, Aaliyah.
It damn sure is.
And so what it is that what I what I found within what I like to ask, I'll put it like this. When's the last time you've been to an art exhibit?
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I was at a Black Girl art show
Mhm.
about 2 weeks ago. And I was there as a vendor because not only do I do this podcast, but I'm also an author. So
Okay, bless up.
and I happen to know a black company called EENY. They do black eyewear, and
Oh,
they allowed me to not only share their space but to assist them in their the selling of the glasses at this art show. And for me, it was so. First of all, I was because I was so busy at the table that we was trying to promote the glasses and promote my book at the same time. It was just such a crowd there, but like the amount of black people in the building to love on and buy art and just be in an
I love
artist
that.
space
I love
was
hearing it.
crazy. Like I was amazed. That is pretty.
See, out there
Oh
where
yes.
you're at, it's and that's my point exactly. Everything you're saying is making a great point for me. It's because a lot
Mm,
of times, you know what I mean, not until we're invited to a place or where we're vending at, or we're
right.
experiencing art. Okay.
But it was just the fun, the not even the funny, it was just like the real amazing part for me was just like the amount of people that was in there. And then when I was talking to people, it wasn't like people was just from New York because the event was here
That's
in New
what
York,
yeah.
but there was people from Virginia, freaking Connecticut, Florida, Texas, and people was traveling in for this show,
Right,
and they
right.
were
I
all
love that.
there
I
to
love that.
support art, to buy art,
And
to be in an artist space. And I
that's
can tell you
free
that
right there.
everybody that came there supported everybody, like
See, that's free
definitely. And never
right
mind the overwhelming love of that was at the table we was at, because like I said, these glasses were they're hand designed and shit. So like mad people, so they was looking at the designs like, oh, these are fly, what black owned, hell yeah, we so. You know what I mean? It was that shit,
there.
and it
Yes.
was, and the name of and then apparently this is an art show that literally travels all over the place. Like they go to DC and
Right,
all kind
right,
of other places.
right.
So I was just like, yo, this is what I love to see when we love us like that. Like when we support our shit like this is fucking awesome. You
And
know
so
what I
what
mean?
I found is that number one, there wasn't a lot of jewelry makers here, okay, especially black.
Especially not black ones, especially not
Especially
black
black.
ones.
And so it became more of, I can see the oddity in it. You see what I'm saying? Now, another part of it is that there may be people that deal with gemstones out here, a lot of blacks that deal with gemstones, but there's not a lot of them that go and get their own gemstones. You see what I'm saying? And so being
Right.
able to have these connections to where I got some brothers, they go to Ghana, they go back, you know what I mean, to different parts of the continent and gather gemstones for me too as well. I've been able to make
Right.
a nice network within being an independently owned jeweler too as well.
Of
And
course.
so it's that part of Kemetlightmedia that's outside of it, involves the tech and so forth, but at the same time I get my chance to get my hands busy, so to speak.
And
So
that makes some unique pieces and great pieces for people to have. Now let me ask you a question because
okay,
excuse me. Now I'm a black business myself. Like I said, I be out selling
right,
books. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said recently, you know, I've shared space with ENY and you know, and watched them sell glasses. And you know, sometimes you get people coming up to you and they wanna, you know, they wanna negotiate. They wanna do. They
yeah,
wanna do this. They wanna do that. And having a conversation with another vendor, it's like some people don't understand the amount of work you put in to get them the product that they see in front of them. You know what I'm saying? They just listening to the price. And they not penetration to the fact that you went to the lengths like it with you went to the lengths to go different places to go dig up these stones. I as an author took my time to put
right,
words on
yeah,
paper,
yeah.
paid
Oh, yeah,
someone to edit it, paid someone to give me a nice cover. You know what I'm saying? I put effort into it, so that
right.
effort comes with a price. So do you get anybody trying to, Jew you down about your shit?
Well, the reality is, I have a philosophy. I'll say it like that. I'll answer your
Mm,
question with a yes off the top. I believe you're always going to have that. Okay,
mm-hmm.
but I believe also in marketing. Okay, so
Mm.
I've been involved with cannabis for about 4 years now,
Okay.
and so as well as selling the art through dispensary, right?
Okay.
Okay, so during the pandemic, okay, that's one of the things that I found out that was strong, especially with selling art and my own products,
Mm.
is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. If I got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, that means I got something in your budget.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So I keep it like
Right.
that. I use for us, I don't know if you got Kragos out there, if I remember, I forget, but all I'm saying is that think of a grocery store. And I always use one of the grocery stores out here, or I'll use Walmart as the example. When you
Right.
walk into Walmart, all right, you cannot negotiate with Walmart. Walmart is a
Yes.
family-owned business. Far as the last I looked at it and cared, but this has been my little spiel. That's number one.
Oh no, I use that spiel myself, but I don't use Walmart. I use because we in New York, and you know how New Yorkers like
Yeah,
to dress and whatnot.
yeah,
I use things like Gucci. You know
yeah.
what I'm
You
saying?
can't walk into
Macy's,
Gucci. Yeah,
Saks
great.
Fifth
That same
Avenue.
thing.
You
Now,
feel me? You
But
can't
also,
walk into Nike or
you'll
the
never walk
NBA
into
store
Nike.
and tell them that you only have $20 to give me
That's
something. You can't do
okay.
that. They don't do
You
that.
really you gonna get them $20 pair of Nikes that they got over there on the floor if they got some
The
$20 pair of Nikes.
Rikes, not
The
Nikes.
Nike,
It won't be. It
you
won't
know what
be
I mean?
Nike with an
But
N.
you ain't
It'll
gonna
be
get them
right.
Nikes.
It'll be with an R. Rikes. Get out of here. You
If you want
bugging.
them, hey, if you want them Nikes,
Payless clothes.
I'll put it like this: you're gonna have to go and and see that's the thing. That's why I believe in education. I believe a lot of what I do, if 80% of it is educating customers, educating people within about my product, educating people on whether I choose to give you a deal or not. It's my choice. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about that. I made that, I own that, and you want it, supply and demand. And I'm not trying to be arrogant about it, but I believe if you do not stand by your product, like a Nike, you know what I'm saying, then, or like a Gucci, then you're gonna get the results that you get, and that's gonna be less than what you are asking for, less than what you
What you think you supposed to get for the money
really.
you bring in? No.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, the reality is
What are you doing?
that's just what it is. And so you gotta I believe in again a grocery store like philosophy. You know what I mean? The grocery store, when you go in there, you got Campbell's soup, and then you got whatever that store product is. Okay, they will put that shit right next to each other. Okay, all right, they'll say, and I'm just throwing something out here. You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying, just throwing whatever. It could have been soap. You know what I mean? Okay, but my point is, you'll see that product that you know that you're like, I want that one. Okay, that's all the ads or whatever they're known. Then you'll see their product right next to it. It'll be a buck or two difference. Both of it is made in the same plant, just different labels.
They.
Okay, but if you don't know that about marketing and about how they do their product, you really gonna be thinking you saving something as a consumer. You see what I'm saying? And so, knowing that about consumerism, I know that I got $150 piece, and I know I got this $5 piece right there. They may be the same stone, but your pockets may only be able to afford that $5 piece.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's all right though.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. When they get that $5 piece from me, I notice that people respect the fact that I have a wide range within my pricing to which they can afford. I always tell a lot of us, especially us Blacks, when you make your things affordable, because I've done venues with people that I've had, and they've had the same product I've had, gemstones. Okay, same thing, but it wasn't affordable. And so they had traction, they had people coming, looking at their product, but they didn't make no sales. And so they came over to me and asked me about it. And I told them make affordable product. And it's really just that simple. Those papers, your product is affordable for people.
Absolutely.
Now, you charge $15 for your papers. You may have one sale, 2 sales. You know what I mean? You'll start, you may have a few sales and stuff like that. But there's nothing like when you make your product reasonable for people.
Oh, trust me. On our website, our papers cost I did bring down the price to $250. I forgot. I put them at $5 and I switched it to $250. And usually when I'm in the street and I'm promoting my book and whatnot, I'll have a couple of them. So I'll show them to people and be like, oh yeah, how much is those? And I'll be like, oh yeah, $2. No big deal. Just give me $2 instead of just trying to look for no 50 cents and me trying to give you 50 cents change because I ain't even got it. Just give me $2 and go on about your business. You know what I'm saying? And look at that. What we got here.
Hey, we in the building?
We're in the
Hey,
building.
mama.
She,
All
she,
right.
she just come off plane. Let me find out.
Oh my gosh, King.
Hey.
For my tardiness, what's up, both of you?
All right. How you feeling? You done just jumped
Man,
off a plane, huh?
you know, I'm trying to take care of all these things when I was like, girl, you can't be too ambitious and you can't think you can handle everything in one day.
Man,
What is wrong with you,
Just,
Rue?
man,
So,
I feel you. I know how that's
man,
like.
you know what,
I
Sir
know how that's
Birthright,
like.
thank you for joining us. I'm so glad that you got to meet my best friend.
Oh,
I'm sure
what's
you
this
can
shout?
tell why she's my best friend now after having this moment. Um, it I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff. I just wanted to express gratitude because time is the most valuable currency,
I
right?
promise you, it
So
is.
for you to help us and invest in us, and then the synergy of promoting you as well is all that we live for. So thank you very much.
Man, I
Did
appreciate
did you guys cover all three subject matters, or do I need to expound upon one, or where we at?
I mean, you already know sex is your department because I ain't finna ask this man nothing about his business in his bedrooms. No, I'm not. Not fit to do that. No. I was about to ask how if he had any children. Yes, because he done explain his business and what he does. And definitely we got into that. So yes, and it's a good thing that you jumped on this call because hello, this is our 25th episode, the last
All
episode
right.
of
All
season
right.
8. Yes,
Congratulations.
indeed.
Congratulations.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hand
No,
clap
for
for
real.
that. So it
For
wouldn't
that.
have
Man,
been right if you didn't show your face up in here, and it wouldn't have been right. But yes,
well,
since you know him, I feel like you was definitely comfortable asking him his bedroom questions. I'ma mind my business, though. I'ma mind my business.
you
That's
know
what.
what? Whether I feel comfortable with the individual, whoever comes on here, I'm gonna ask the questions. The
You gonna
worst
ask
that
him.
they can say is either "f off," which I'm fine with, or I'm not talking about that. So, I didn't even ask if there are any taboo. But I will ask you, Mr. Birthright, can you please give the brothers in here or who will be watching this some tips on how to take care of their sexual health?
Oh man, it's your diet, bro. Number one, your diet is a big thing. The time that you take in the morning to yourself,
Well,
okay, you have to take. Me, I get up 3, 4 in the morning. Um, I take try to have at least 3 hours to myself, meditating, to also taking care of my health machine. That's when it comes down to your mental health. It starts off with mental health. You got to take care of your mental health. And so, if you're having any thoughts of violence, suicide, woe with me, things are not going your way, please reach out to somebody because that's a big part of your whole sexual
word.
drive too. Okay, that will affect your sexual drive. It affect how long you're able to last in the bedroom too. Okay, it affect whether that joint want to get up and do a dance or whether they do a little squeaky little crawl. Ain't nothing popping, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Because if your mental health, because it's the biggest thing I'm tell brothers is that sex is in the mind first and foremost.
Word.
Okay, and so if your mental is stable, then your penis, your dick, your loved one, whatever you want to call it, Johnson, it's gonna be stable. It's gonna do what it's supposed to do naturally. But if you ain't
Mm,
stable up here, you will lose a fucking erection like that because you're gonna be
Mm.
thinking of some shit that ain't got nothing to do with what you're supposed to be thinking of right then and there. And that is, well, anyway, you know what it is, but I'm just saying, nah,
Absolutely.
that's the biggest thing for me. Diet is a big thing for me.
Awesome.
A
Thank you
lot.
for that, King. Also, how long have you been out here in Portland?
Well, this recent little journey with me in Portland has been roughly about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Little 15 years.
Okay, you dedicated.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a Portlander, is it Portlander or Portlandier?
Your guess is good as mine on that one. You
I
know
was about
what?
to say, either way, that
Real
sounds
talk.
nasty.
Right.
I don't like
So,
them names. Throw
no,
those away. Throw those
no,
away.
no, I don't. I have major love for everything that I've been a part of here in Portland, but I also know Portland well enough to know that if they've always had a thing with you're outside of Oregon or you're not from here type stuff. Whereas in a lot of other places that's thriving and the successful cities, they welcome people in. And you can that. See what I'm saying? I think the biggest example is New York is known for that.
Sure. Cali.
Well, nah. Wait a minute now. Hold on, cause
Am I going too
as a
far?
New Yorker, I gotta tell you that we only recognize the 5 boroughs. As soon as you start talking about Syracuse, we be like, nah, that's not New York. That's upstate.
But I feel you on that. And that's
that's not that we don't do. You're not part of the. You're not part of the towns.
No, I feel you on that.
The towns.
And I feel that that's a part of wherever you go. But just in speaking and not trying to speak on New York like that without knowing and being there myself, but just saying in general with Oregon, I feel like that the first thing is where you from is where I get. And I believe the reason why that is because
you got too much flavor.
Well, and the low expectation of the men here. There's a very low bar here. You see what I'm saying? So
I feel it. Feel it on the West Coast Imperial.
Stand outside of that low bar because the bar is so damn low. You feel what I'm saying? And so it make everything that I do look big when in
Dude,
fact,
I feel that, Mr. Birthright. I feel that,
you
Queen.
See what I'm saying? Whereas
I
in
literally,
other places, it's normal.
Right.
It's normal for me to be an entrepreneur, entertainer, and make moves and have success. That's normal in some places.
Right.
Normal.
Or expected.
Expected. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's like
I can give you a perfect example. Out here, it is normal as fuck to see motherfuckers on the street selling shit. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Normal as fuck. That shit is not a big deal. Matter of fact, the only thing you gotta worry about is if you ain't got a vendor license, the cops might come up on you and say some fuck shit. That means, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't have anything else to do.
When they bored.
Hey, look, I promise you.
But
Kai Storm in the building. Motherhood Sex Marijuana. Rolling Papers in the building. Motherhood Sex Marijuana. Merch in the building. If you're here, we thank you, and we most certainly appreciate you. But we want you to spread the word, tell a friend, subscribe, make sure and, get yourself some rolling papers. And, of course, if you want to sponsor an episode, if you want to be on an episode, if you have products you want to show us that we want to show the people, come through. You feel me? Motherhood Sex Marijuana Rolling Papers. Merch. YouTube. Subscribe. Fight all the algorithms and let us get in. Yeah?
On the West Coast, man, you looked at as a straight thief. You out in the street trying to sell some shit.
Hey, look, I know one thing. I didn't hustle my own product off these blocks for a long time. And one of the things that I found here is that when I meet other brothers that is like that, 9 times out of 10, they come from somewhere else. You see what I'm saying?
And so, exactly. And they don't realize it until they get out there, try that shit, and then look at everybody like, why you looking at me like I'm strange? Like, where I come from, everybody do this.
They have hella...
everybody do this.
Yeah, and they have hella self-comp. It becomes self-conscious. Because now, with the way this move out here, if you don't know how to swim with salmon, you feel what I'm saying? And you got some trout over there where you from. See, salmon out here, they go in the cold water. You feel what I'm saying? And so if you can't deal with the coldness of people and white folks and shit like that, then your ass ain't gonna
No
make
soul
it.
having.
You might as well
No
go back home,
seasoning
man.
having ass.
Yeah, because out
No
here,
lips.
you better be able to deal with the cold, and they cold out here. You see what I mean? But I'll sell your ass an igloo. You feel what I mean? I don't care how cold you want to be. I know you like ice. You see what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's a cold. Definitely.
Yeah, but you
Not
have
just
to
the
have
weather.
that. You have to have that mind state, though. You know what I mean? When you deal with, again, we'll refer back to Nike. Nike stands by their product. Okay, period. The reason why Nike is able to stand by their product is because they know people buy it. The evidence is there. And so that's how I feel. No
Shoot, let's
different.
be honest. There's whole lot. I don't know about on the West Coast because I ain't never seen nobody do this on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, baby, when the new Jordans come out, there's a whole line in front of these stores, and people go in the stores and fight for the sneakers. They
Hey,
fighting. They are
well, out
fighting
here
for
we
the
too busy
sneakers.
robbing their ass. You know what I mean? That's our problem.
Child,
They running up in stores too much. They be able to close the store down, and you got to go all the way out here now to where the folks ain't robbing at to get you. Other than that, you go in the bargain. You better go over there to that little bargain Betty's or whatever they call it out here. But to answer to all that, I think it's just again developing, knowing what others like is the biggest part of selling products here locally. If again, I referred earlier about my art. As long as I did art out here, this is such a small percentage, less, it may be 2% now of the Black population out here. So if I just do art with Malcolm X, for instance, I've talked about Malcolm X and starting with Malcolm X in high school. But if I just did Malcolm X, I'd be homeless. Okay, number one. Okay, number two, if that's what I'm marketing, you said only that,
of
and I don't
course.
have a mixed, diverse collection as I do, then I would never be able to survive out here. And the thing is, it's like when I do Polynesian people, you see what I'm saying? When I do Asian people, you see what I'm saying? When I do Spanish people, well, you see what I mean? When I do even white folks, you see what I'm saying? Then there's no label right there. And there's no limitation. But when you limit yourself, you know what I mean? If I just keep this banner upside my head, I'm only doing this. You know what I mean? Now I got Huey, only Huey. I got only Malcolm. I got only Easy Eminem. You see what I mean? And I don't have a diverse collection. You see what I'm saying? I got a dancer painting over here. I got yoga paintings. You see what I mean?
That's right.
Having that makes you more easier to deal with here.
Oh yeah, I know. Based on where you stay at, yes, that definitely makes sense based on where you stay at. You know what I mean? After all, you gotta you gotta blend in with to push what your art is. I get it.
Well, it's not blended. I don't, because I just got through telling this cat that I'm looking to do more business with it at this dispensary. I'm not much of a shuck and jive type of brother. You see what I'm saying? Because I'll tell him in a minute, fuck your money. You take that and stick it up your ass and go over there with it. It's not that. You see what I mean? I know what I got. And I know it's it. I know it's good.
Right.
You
That part. That part.
The biggest thing to me as a Black artist, if that's the case, is that the downfall of a lot of us is that we haven't learned the art of duplication. White folks learned the art of duplication years ago. And so you can go into your stores right now, with wherever region you're in America, and you can buy their product. Okay, you can whatever. That's why I use Campbell's soup earlier. You see the store, you see Campbell's, and then you see right next to it the store's own version of it. Same damn product, same ingredients, all right, different label attached to it.
Right. Maybe even made from the same factory.
That's what I pointed out earlier. They're made in the same factory. Once I understood consumerism, see, that's the thing. We don't understand a lot of times as a people, we don't understand consumerism. We're just consumers. And so we don't understand the science of it. What makes something, a product, attractive to a person. You can have a great product, okay? But there is a reason why it's going to be attractive to somebody. And somebody's going to find that, oh, okay, I want that. And they're going to go out of their way to just have that. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like with my customer base that I've been able to develop, it's been based on having the exact product that they want. It's not about what I want.
Right, variety. Exactly. I get it.
Right. It's literally, it's not about what I want.
Right.
They want this. And when I look at, okay, when you go as and I found out this early on, I went in and for us out here, Ruby, you know, we have, and I use Walmart as an example. You can go in Walmart and buy jewelry. That's nothing. I always tell people, you go right over there, wherever you go, you can go buy it there. You don't have to come to me. Number one, I know that. I have power in knowing that. Because if you're in front of me, that means you want it, period. Or you wouldn't have there's no reason for you to be in my face. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that knowledge, I hold it in power. So when I deal with people, I deal with them on that evidence that I know. When they say, oh, do you have ruby?
Yeah.
If there's not a ruby on that table, then what's going to be there tomorrow? Rubies. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I had quartz on there. I was doing quartz, a lot of quartz. Well, great. Mm-hmm. But soon as somebody said, hey, my birthstone is opals. No, opal. Do you have an opal? I said, yes. It'll be here tomorrow for you. You see my point?
Right.
I'm only going to go with what they want. Okay? It ain't about that I want to put this stone out there. No, it's about people want this birthstone. There's 12 months. So at least there's 12 dominant stones. Okay? So if I just dealt with just quartz, I would only have a limited person. That diversity that you're talking about, yes, it's there, but it's not that the demand from that consumer, those consumers, is that for that particular item. You see them for that particular stone. They're the ones that pull it in. And so with that being repetitious like that, that's why I think in Oregon, when you get that rhythm, you got to maintain your rhythm with it. You see what I'm saying? But if you're not willing to put all in, and sometimes you got to put yourself in a situation or in a place, like for me, it's Oregon. It puts me in a place outside of my norm. You see what I'm saying? And so I feel that in doing so, I've been able to learn more about myself as well as my customer in doing so.
I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying? Because in knowing about myself, what do you do in those hard days? They ask me. I've had that asked many times when it rains out here so much. What about when it's raining? How do you sell your product if you're not outside? Okay. You go inside, simple. You get in business or have business with other businesses. Don't be scared to branch in and network with people. You know what I mean? For me, I network with cannabis businesses. You see what I'm saying? So it's being able to do that and be flexible that I think is the biggest thing that all of us must do, but especially us brothers. We got to be flexible.
Absolutely. And you know what? When you were talking, all that I hear in that is self-respect, self-love. And that's important, just like you said, the mental health aspect before
Yeah,
anything. Before we
very.
can even talk about this, we have to have a solid understanding about this right here. You feel me?
Yes,
And I
yes.
I think that's whoever's listening right now. I really hope you take that gem along with the other gems that this king and queen have shared. um Great. Now, why did you even come out here? Was it intentional, or did you just end up out here?
Intentional. I had my
Okay.
grandmother. My, I have two great uncles that came out here to Oregon, but
Okay.
my grandfather came out here years ago and worked on the railroad out here, and then went back to the family farm or whatsoever.
Oh,
And then
okay.
my great uncles, after they got out of the military, my grandmother's brother, shit, they was able to get land out here, or a house. You know what I mean? So they used they GI Bill and bought some property. So they was like, cool.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And so when they did that, my grandmother had came out here in like in the 1980. And so I didn't know nothing about Oregon. My grandmother left Los Angeles. She came out here to help my uncle.
Shout out to LA.
Yeah, big love. And then next thing you know, we're learning more about that I got cousins out here and
That's
all
right.
that I never what? I got cousins, you know what I mean? Got
Right.
third, fourth cousins and all fifth cousins and all that. So it was like one of those things. And so when I initially came out here, it was like 85. And I came out here, my mother was sending me, I was young then, sending me from LA out here because I was surrounded with gangs. Just I was involved with gangs, just that simple. And so with that, Oregon was slower. You know what I mean? And so
Gotcha.
they won't, hey, try Oregon. It's slower. You know what I mean? Maybe keep out of trouble.
Oh, I can
But
imagine how slow it is. Yes.
oh yeah, it was
Oh, it
slow.
is.
But then the reality is that Oregon's it was full of racists too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was just like you had your small black
It was
community.
full of racists, as in
It
they're
still
racist or
is.
not.
It still
It
is full of
still
racists,
is.
but the
About to
boldness
say.
of it. See, nowadays, then you could, I would take a bunch of my young partners downtown to beat up skinheads. You see what I'm saying? I was like, fuck them skinheads. I
Right.
love that little clash of let's go with it. Let's clash with the Titans type shit. But the reality is that they took that skinhead and they grew some hair. They took that torn up T-shirt that they had on and they put on a collar and a tie.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
that's right. He
And
has a
so,
poem about it too,
so
don't you, sir?
it used to be
And a police uniform, but okay.
and a police uniform. It
All
used to
that.
be bolder to where they would step out and be like, nigga, this. And then you could smack them upside their head right then and there and get it on. But now they took on official uniforms, official positions, and so forth. Because that ass whooping was always coming. You feel what I mean?
Right.
Right.
And so I think a lot of stuff is more in the background per se.
Right.
And it's just it's a lot of what happened before. You know what I mean? Oh, we didn't want y'all niggas here. We didn't want y'all niggas here. You know, we've been here since the 1800s.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
You see what
And
I'm
then
saying?
another thing I was going to say to that point is that I almost prefer being in the South, kind of where it's right in your face. I don't F with you, you don't F with me, instead of the smiley, like we're homies and you just don't want to see me succeed. And I think that's a whole nother type of evil. You feel me?
Word.
Not
Yes, so I
saying that the
definitely
other one's
feel you.
right.
But
Oh, it's the
I feel
same.
like
Either way,
we got that.
it's the same.
It is. But I think at a time we didn't know. See, the thing is, when it was right up in your face, you see what I mean? You was like, yeah, you can confront it. You see what I'm saying? Because you was like, this is the face of it. You see what I mean? But they got smarter. You feel what I mean? And so it made, they got smarter and they thought about it. Hey, let us dial it back a little bit. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And then now they got us to where we'll we still buy the same properties. We still go on the same way. We're still paying the same people. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're still going into slavery for that same thing for them. You see what I mean? It's just they ain't over here saying you niggers in our face.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
if you
It's a whole
prefer,
different slavery right around now.
yeah, it's a whole different slavery. But if you prefer to be called a nigger to your face, it's like, let's evil. Don't take two lessons of evil. Just be real with the shit.
That's why I said I almost prefer. I definitely don't prefer it, but I guess I respect it more. You feel me? I don't know.
Right.
Because I could call. I don't have no. Actually, I have a song where I'm saying these crackers be tripping, spreading the
I love that one. That's my lick.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as far as that goes, hey, you gonna give it, I'm gonna give it right back to you. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody superior here. We just have different perceptions, you see? So anyway, I will never understand it completely, but I think these conversations are important to have.
Yeah.
And it's important to always keep in mind the organization and the strategy and the tactfulness, or, rather than of our people. So I feel like if I'm ever in a position, whatever it is, even if I work at a post office or something, right? Well, I can there create a more loving environment for everybody and be an advocate in that. I don't know. You don't have to solve the whole racist problem, because we can't right now, right?
Well, you're not going to solve it here and work it. You see what I'm saying? You're not your presence. The presence here is not as deep. You feel what I mean? One of the things that I seen, I was talking with my mother about this. She asked me. She said, do you think that now that white folks are protesting about rights, that things will change? And I thought it was a pretty valid, question. And I told her straight up, no. But yes, at the same time, I think it will. Because now we have that little Tyler like thick black women or like thick women. Little Tyler like Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Lil Whoop Whoop, Lil Tyler like all that now. Lil Tyler like to slang his hat to the back.
Right.
You understand? Lil Tyler ain't like great grandpa no more, because Lil Tyler, he like, yo, I don't think, hey, B, you know what I'm saying? Hey, word is born. And Lil Tyler ain't never been around black people like that out here.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it shows when little Tyler's privilege is up for discussion, right?
Yes.
Because there's no way in hell that we're going to lose that now,
So
right?
Like, no, I'm not going to, hey, that's my friend.
Right.
Okay, I didn't see more little Tylers and little Susies out here doing their whole thug thizzle, you know what I mean?
Right.
Out there, we want our rights. You can't do that to them. I said, Mom, think about it. I said, you guys didn't get the chance to see that. When you was young, it was the reversal. But I'm of the Dick Gregory theory.
Right.
I love Dick Gregory. I didn't painted himself too.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But like Dick Gregory said, and I believe this, he said before it was slavery, they was taking your mamas and they take that black woman, right? And they said, watch our kids. And for years, women the kids was made to suckle off of those black women's breasts. And so years ago, back in the 60s, what Dick Gregory did is he took $1 million of his dollars and he invested it in what is breast milk, period. And what he found out is not only is most of the research, especially at that time, about breast milk that is done by men, which wasn't cool. You know what I mean? He had to hire people, you know what I mean, scientists. What's in breast milk? What makes breast milk good, bad? Tell me all I want to know. My point is, in that research, what he found out is that, of course, like we know now, you know what I mean, that DNA is passed on through that breast milk. So going back, now you see little Tyler and you see little Susie, when she up there, look, I'm fed. Nah, you got to understand. Little Susie and little Tyler's people may have been suckling off the black woman or a woman's tit for generations, and now that's come up. So
Great
that's
point.
why they act like that. It
Great
ain't
point.
okay. That's why that's happened. You understand what I'm saying? So now since I know that, when I see little Susie and I'll peep the game, I say, oh, okay. Somebody was over there suckling. You see what I mean? I ain't mad at you. You see what I mean? Now you out here like, no, you can't do nothing. You can't. Go ahead, because racism is not your problem, sisters. It's not your problem.
No.
So when I see they kids out of get your kid, yeah, go get your grandpa, your old this, you go fight they system. Because that's your shit. And that's what you should do. Get your ass to get to work. Because we ain't marching no more. My mama got sores on her feet from marching. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. That march, first of all, that march came and went, and nobody. Because I swear to God, when I heard about it, I was like, wait, that was today. Yeah, we weren't supposed to be involved in that bullshit now. How? Like, what the
that wasn't
supposed to go? We weren't supposed to be there. Never mind the fact that I feel like that all of that bullshit is bullshit in the first place. Because at the end of the day, see, for me, the whole idea of people being tight that, oh, you voted him in. No, the Electoral College in Florida voted him in. They didn't give a fuck who the fuck you voted for in that room, fam.
No.
The Electoral College decided that Trump was going to do this. And Trump is doing what he's doing. He putting respect on his name big time right now because the Electoral College chose him. Your votes meant nothing. Your votes meant nothing.
More
Again,
people understood
your fucking votes meant nothing.
We wouldn't have, if more people understood that, we wouldn't be I wouldn't have a bunch of stupid ass.
We wouldn't even have these black people, all these rap stars, all these fucking celebrities telling you go vote. Go vote for who? Go vote for what? All of y'all motherfuckers voted for whoever the fuck you voted for, and the Electoral College said we been decided we was gonna have Trump again, bitch. Who the fuck you doing what? We didn't count shit. We didn't give a fuck about what the fuck
we can sure be divided amongst ourselves and battle ourselves over these things now, can't we? And that's just
money.
Right.
It goes back to what I was saying about consumerism. Once you understand consumerism,
right. And to be quite honest, I believe that the whole racial situation is part of that. How, I don't know, maybe, what is it?
Yes, race is consumerism. It's all part of consumerism.
Exactly.
Okay, race sells. I don't care who you are or what you think. In this modern day, race sells.
Right. Yes, sir.
You know how many commercials, ads it's playing every time during the news. That's making money. Okay. These topics, every time they're in them, I'm not saying not talk about them, but I'm just saying we got to think bigger a lot of times. And that's when we're talking about a Trump or a person like this. You got to understand that business, like we were talking about earlier, sister. You got to understand business, and this is a business in what we're going through right now. Okay.
Right.
The business. America has been a business. But if you go in his store, go in Trump's store over there at any tower where he's at. Okay, wherever he has product, anybody can go in there where he has product and turn that motherfucker over and see where it was made.
Exactly.
See it was made for yourself. So it's not about the race part of it is just to sell the merchandise. It's selling more merchandise. That's all. It's just to bring up the money to sell more merchandise because he's a businessman. Man, that's what you think he was going to do. But if you got enough invested in all these products, think about it. If you got investments in these several different products, and right now it's having tariffs caused against, you stand to make a lot of money. Okay? You stand to make a lot of money. So therefore, being those that stand and make a lot of money versus those that ain't gonna make a dime, that's what we're talking about really at the end of the day.
Exactly.
We're talking
Who
about
gonna be the one paying the most?
yeah, who
Exactly.
gonna be paying the most. You see what I mean? And so we already know the buck falls short on people that basically poor, don't have a lot of money.
Exactly.
Exactly, sir.
So you know, but you know
You-
this in dealing with any business, right? We know their prices is gonna go what?
High as fuck.
Yep.
High as a giraffe's neck. You know
Because
what
we
I'm
know
saying?
what
They already high.
high.
Higher
Shit.
than me and Kai.
Right. And I'm pretty high. I'm just gonna say that. But yes,
All the time.
all the time. That is how I
Oh,
deal with
yeah.
life. That is how I deal with life. Yes. Very
Mr.
much so.
Birthright,
Yes.
can you please break down how to properly court a Black queen in 2025? Can you break that part down? Because I think you're worthy of explaining that to everybody.
Uh-oh.
Well, I believe firmly again, let's go back to dealing with self. You can't be slanging your thing around the town. So that's number one. You can't be a loose dick brother. You feel what I mean? You gotta
Bars.
be able to have a little bit of
Self-control. I don't
history,
know.
Restraint.
self-control, and with that standard in that. I believe that your seed is sacred, number one. So in order to be able to control that, and that also deals with your whole sexual health too. Again, if you want to be able to last, you know what I mean? You just can't be throwing that thing to anybody. You feel what I mean? But I really
you just can't be community. You can't be the community.
you know,
Yeah, I'm saying just community, just here, there,
but
everywhere. You're just community.
even if you have been community, I believe that in order to court a Black woman, number one, don't rush. The first thing conversations can't be about sex. I think that's where a lot of us go wrong at, because I believe that a woman will tell you she wants sex before you can ask for it.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? And so I believe in having that, you know what I mean? That when you're able to, it's not about the fancy, just fancy alone, but it's about being able to nurture her needs. Hear without hearing, so to speak. Hear the things she's saying without her saying it sometimes. You know what I mean? I think that's a big thing. But the going on the dates and not asking for sex, dropping her off at her place, opening up doors, flowers, bring some damn flowers, man. They ain't that damn expensive, man. You can get a damn card from the Dollar Tree out here. You can get 2 of them. Save one for later. You know what I'm saying?
Or make one.
You don't make one.
Wait, Ruby, come on, take it easy. Take it easy.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It may seem like it may seem like it's not a
maybe that's a white
corny. It may seem like corny.
I mean, you got enough make art from the children. The children do that. Let's not have the grown people pulling out construction paper. Get the fuck out of here with it. No, we're not doing that. We can't do that. Okay.
But if that's your thing, and you done found a sister that like construction paper, or you make as many of them construction paper.
You know what? And that's the difference between me and Ruby. That's clearly the difference between me and Ruby, because Ruby is talking about construction paper, and I'm looking at you like, no, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Please, don't do this to me.
Dating a Black woman, you gotta understand where she stands, period, when you're going into it. Now, there's you may be dealing with somebody that just wants to hang out. That's all right. Okay, but you gotta know she just wants to hang out. But you gotta set forth your intentions first and foremost. Okay, what is your intentions with the woman? You got to know what your intentions are. Now, if your intentions is just to have some sex, trust me, there's somebody out there that might want to have some sex with you. That may not be the one you're dealing with, though. But don't force her into that. Don't make her feel like a sexual object. Because other than that, I believe that in courting, the biggest thing, it's not that I'm saying that like there's this 3-month rule or there's this. I'm just saying to define that I know that there's 7 days in a week. If I want to go out, okay, I give myself $100 limit, say. I can go out 7 times with 7 different women, okay? Now, I know that I know how much that I'm going to pay for in a month's time in doing so. Now, if that's what you want to do as a man, okay, if that's how you want to live it, then that's not courting.
Right.
See what I'm saying? That's buying affection. That's buying companionship. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
And that's a
right.
different thing. But when
Good
it comes
point.
to courting, sometimes I found that some women just, they want to just have some lunch. It ain't always got to be a night thing. You feel
Right.
what I mean? Be able to go out, talk, have a great conversation.
Right.
Discussion of sex being the first thing in or a continuous topic. I'll say it can come up, but it ain't got to be the continuous topic. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And no, again, it's back to I believe men
Keeping it natural, basically.
Yeah. Well, I say keep it 5,000. They got a deficit out here. I guess they're trying to keep it 100, but we still keeping it 5,000 this way. Yeah, I'm old school.
Okay.
Come on.
We still keep
I love that.
this way. Okay, we ain't gonna just keep it a buck. We gonna keep it all the way 5 G's on this one.
Come on.
5 G's in that.
Other than that,
Okay.
you're gonna waste your time out here. You feel what I mean? If you don't and you gotta know, if you don't respect your mama, there ain't no way you're gonna respect the black woman that you're trying to court or date.
Say that.
Because you don't even respect your mama. You don't know how to date a woman. And you got to learn. You can't jump. You can't relationship jump. Because in the courtship, when you go into court a black woman, if you've already been jumping from relationship to relationship, she ain't gonna want to be with you, man. You know what I mean? Because she realizes that you're unstable.
Exactly.
And number 2,
she don't want none of that bullshit. Exactly.
And if
but
you
yes, can definitely take this time now to tell us how to reach out to you,
please,
your website and all that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody want to hit you up?
Yeah, my website is Kemet. That's Kemet, light LIGHT media, regularmedia.com. That's number 1.
Boom.
Yes, and of course we'll include all of that.
And anything else about me. It's just that's it. That's the business.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions for us or any parting words with anyone that might be listening to you right now?
I got questions for both of you.
Okay.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But I'll ask it at the same time. Y'all both can answer in your own way. What is something that us black men can do in order to be able to treat you guys better?
Shit. I mean,
my husband
is within earshot, so I'm just like, oh Lord.
But for real though.
Well, what is
he could be nicer. Now I'm only playing.
Be straight up. Be 100.
He could be nicer sometimes. I don't know.
As well as humans
but he's
in general.
Pretty nice. Let me say, I'm only playing. He's pretty nice. I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you this.
For me, he's doing everything else he's supposed to do. So it's all good. I'm just playing.
And he's very lucky to have you because that is a stellar woman right there. I would say I want to share something with y'all.
Okay.
I went on a date with let's say someone from the Caucasus Mountains the other day, right?
Caucasus Mountains, Lord God.
And let's just say this. The reason why I did it was not because that's my preference at all. I did it because I feel like I am always seeking out what I feel like I want, right?
Okay.
However, just because I want, let's say I want um, purple heart. That's what I'm aiming for, right? I want this purple heart, and that's the only thing that I'm looking for. Well, what if the purple heart don't want you? Or what if the purple heart is not ready for you? So are you just looking for these purple hearts? So anywho, I just say that to say I wanted to try something different. And there was something that I found, because different can be bad, it can be good. But I think
Right.
because of I would say trauma related issues, I just needed something. Like, you know how you like cleanse your palate, right? You just got to cleanse it so you can try something else.
Right.
I will say after that, I couldn't wait to run in the arms of a Black man. There's just something about
Oh,
as far as, because I even though I'm raising melanated kings and queens, I'm Samoan and I'm proud of it. So I can't take the credit of being a Black woman as much as I want to. I can't, because that wouldn't be fair to my sisters.
of
But as
course.
someone who loves the community, I want to make sure, and I do like women too, so I want to make sure I'm not just fetishizing people, because y'all are the sexiest mofos that ever lived. So, and so that's what I mean. But I'm just saying, now what I'm trying to do is, you hit it on. Everything that you said, I think, is what women of all colors would like. You know, it doesn't matter, right? And I told my nephew, I was like, sometimes someone just wants to be treated like a lady. You know what I mean? There is nothing wrong with being gentle with somebody.
Hey,
And I think that
Word.
sometimes, especially even in my Samoan heritage,
hey, I
I get
love you.
turned
That's
off
real.
sometimes. I get kind of, I don't know if it's turned off, or I feel like it's just overwhelming, because I feel like there could be expectations that we put on each other, like, oh, you're supposed to save me from this, I'm supposed to save this from you. And
Right.
it's like, I just want race not to be a thing. Like just what we said. I want to just take it out and just look at it from a human approach, and then not be limited by my own prejudices, right? But anyway, I just wanted to say that piece. And I think that if we can do what this gentleman said, communicate, not expect anything, you will be surprised with what you will find. And you
Man,
will find that women, no matter how strong, how independent, they will not be subservient, but they will follow suit into your leadership. They will allow you to lead them. And I think friendship is above everything, right?
man, that's that's
Friendship. You feel me? Be my
literally
friend.
80%.
Exactly.
Okay, it's literally 80%, if not more, within a relationship. Because if we're not bonded as friends, people do some of the damnedest things for their friend. You understand what I'm saying? They will go some of the the places, the distances. You hear the most wildest stories about what people will do for their friends. So if that's the case, then if your man or your woman is your friend, then it should be that same type of bond, that same
And
type
respect.
of and respect.
Exactly. It's just,
That
it's
only
all
adds
inclusive.
only adds to the cake in the first place, because
It really do.
the friendship is the foundation.
Foundation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what
Exactly.
that's where everything grows from: the love, the honor, the respect. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You know what I mean? The forever. You know what I'm saying? That it's supposed to be.
Word.
When that's your partner, you know what I'm saying? That's my partner.
That when they say ride or die, it's supposed to be ride or die for real. It's supposed to be ride or die for fucking real. You know what I mean?
This is not.
Yes.
That's what matters.
And this is the like the best way to like clap this episode on the end because hey, on the East Coast it's getting quite late. So yes, we must shut this down right now.
Okay, that's
We
right.
must shut this down right now.
Love you
All right,
guys
y'all.
so
You know what I
much.
mean?
Hey,
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Kings,
appreciate
for
y'all.
being a part of season 8, episode 25.
You know
Rube,
it.
me and you got the 2-month break before we get into season 9, and we got a whole lot of good things coming down in
Ooh-wee.
season 9. You know what I'm
Stay
saying?
tuned.
And King,
Stay
you are
tuned.
always welcome to come back in season 9 if you got some new shit you
Absolutely.
want to talk about, anything. You know what I'm saying? We'll let
Always.
you know when to schedule a new time. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I'm
'Cause
with it.
we do 2-month breaks in between seasons. So yes, indeed. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
through.
you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much
ma'am.
for being
Yes, sir.
accommodated. And thank you for getting off the motherfucking plane enough time to get on this mic. I appreciate you for that too. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And everybody appreciate me for being in the motherfucking
No
building.
it, man. You
I
held
want
it
the
down.
motherfuckers to
Absolutely.
make this
That's
shit
my
You
happen.
best
held it
thing.
down. You did
I
held it
want
down.
the
You
motherfuckers
did
to
held
make
that
this
She
down.
shit
sure
happen.
do.
All right.
And on that
Yes.
note, Motherhood Sex
Motherhood,
Marijuana in
sex,
the motherfucking
marijuana.
building.
Motherfucking building with Birthright
Yes,
X.
You know it,
Woo!
baby.
yes, yes, indeed. Kemetlightmedia in the
Yeah.
building.
No.
All right,
All
later,
right.
people.
All
Much
It was
right,
a
y'all.
great
love.
moment.
Well,
Thank you.